Hello guys and welcome back to Nate Sports Talk. Before we get into the topic of the video, I do want to say thank you guys for viewing, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on my videos. It means a lot to me that you guys take time out of your days to watch my YouTube videos and interact with them when you do. I hope that these videos do provide a little bit of entertainment for you and make you think a little bit about the topic that we're discussing, whether you agree or disagree. And we're almost at 30 subscribers, so I would like if you guys could help me reach that goal and get to 30 subscribers. It would mean a lot to me. Now on to the video. I am excited to talk about what one player that each Premier League team needs in order to achieve their goals this season. We're going to start the list from alphabetical order from A down to W. First off, we're going to start with Bottle Job FC. Arsenal. Uh, Declan Rice is the player who I believe they are desperate for. They they absolutely need a midfielder. If they had a midfielder last season, I don't think that they win the Premier League, but they certainly get closer with Moise Caicedo than they do, and they probably push it to the last day, if not win it, with Moise Caicedo and Declan Rice. But if they can only pick one or the other, you have to go with Declan Rice. He's a generational talent. He may end up as good, not as good, but one of the better English midfielders to ever play in the Prem. He won't be in that Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes level, but of this generation, he could be the best English midfielder we have alongside Jude Bellingham. And if they get him, they could easily push Man City again for the Premier League title and push forward in the Champions League and other competitions this season as well. Next up, we have Aston Villa. Aston Villa, one of their main weaknesses, from what I see, they have a really good goalkeeper. They have a really good left back that Unai Emery likes. They have some good defensive pieces, some good midfield, a really good striker in Ollie Watkins, someone who we didn't think was going to be that. But under Unai Emery, they have finally made European football. And to make that next step into Europa League or Champions League, I believe that they need Pedro Goncalves. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. I'm not Portuguese. But I I really truly believe that they need someone out on the wings who can go out, create goals, and score goals. Something that they desperately need. They are a hard team to score goals against, but they don't score goals enough to be an elite level team. And someone like Goncalves, we're just gonna call him Pedro. Pedro, someone to pair alongside Ollie Watkins and Emi Buendia would be really good for them and could see them go a long way next season. Next up is Bournemouth. Bournemouth, they're kind of a boring team, so they don't go after the high quality guys, and they're not really going to do much in the Premier League except for this season. Mid-table was a very good season for them, and someone who I think that they need to try and avoid relegation again is James Justin. He's a more prototypical fullback. He's not going to excite you going forward. He's not going to excite you with his defensively, but he's just good all around. And having and being that Leicester had been relegated, he should be cheap. They let Matthias Viña, I think that's his name, the outside back who they brought in on loan, go back to his parent club, and they do not look to re-sign him for the 15 mil buy option. So I think James Justin would be someone who they could probably get around that range or cheaper and probably be better than what he provided for them this season. Next up, we have Brentford. This one's tough because I wanted to go with the goalkeeper to replace David Raya, but do I believe that Thomas Strakosha could provide adequate enough support for this upcoming season that they can go in other directions? I do believe so. I was debating between Moussa Dembele to replace him for the suspended Ivan Toney, but I have decided to go with James Maddison. Is he realistic? Maybe not, but they are desperate for someone to replace Christian Eriksen. They lost him in the previous season. They're still yet to replace him. They need a guy who can go creatively. He can go forward with his playmaking, and he can go forward scoring goals and he's really good with free kicks as well. He's an all-around attacking threat, something that they're lacking in the midfield. And with James Maddison, they can make that step into pushing for the Conference League this season. Next up, I have Brighton. Brighton are probably going to lose Moises Caicedo, and they've already lost Alexis McAllister to the almighty Reds. Best club in the world, by the way. Someone to replace them, to replace those guys, is Romeo Lavia. They like to go out and get the young guys. Maybe he's too much out of their budget, and maybe they'll lose him to some of the bigger clubs in Europe. But if they somehow are able to get Romeo Lavia, he's a young guy who fits the profile of Brighton, someone who's going to get in, someone who's going to get in and get into the tackles and provide something going forward. He is the perfect replacement, in my opinion, for Moises Caicedo. Next up, we have Burnley. I originally had Nathan Tella sign him on a permanent, but I felt like that was kind of cheating. That was too easy. So I've opted for Victor Gyokeres. No idea. We're just going to call him Victor. The striker from Coventry City. With them not being promoted, he's too good in the Championship. He's someone who deserves to take that next step into the Premier League, and Burnley are a team that are looking for a striker. They could upgrade in that department, and Victor is a Premier League level striker, someone that they can probably get for £20 million. There will be a lot of competition for him from other big clubs in Europe, but the Premier League is a highly attractive league, and I think that Burnley, if they give him a good offer, will be able to secure him and help him in that signing, will help him avoid relegation this season. Next up, Chelsea. Chelsea have to get this player, in my opinion. If they can get whoever else they want, but if they don't get this guy, it means nothing. And that is the one and only Harry Kane. If they don't get a striker, they can sign Andre Onana. They can bring in Nkunku. They can bring in whoever else they want. But Harry Kane will tie this all together. If you don't have a striker, you don't win games. It's hard to score goals. Chelsea have struggled for years to score goals without a striker, and Harry Kane could be the answer to all their problems. Pair him up with Mauricio Pochettino, and they will be able to compete for the top 4 again next season. Next up, Crystal Palace. This signing that I've picked, this player that I've picked for them, would be if Wilfried Zaha leaves. I'm assuming that he leaves. He either goes to another European club or he goes off to Saudi Arabia. And I have picked on Anders Skov Olsen, the guy from Club Brugge, outside winger, Danish. He's a really good, talented young winger that they desperately need to replace Wilfried Zaha with if he does so leave. They need to go away from the old guys under the first Roy Hodgson reign, something that they've been doing more when they had Patrick Vieira, and hopefully now, even though he's gone, Roy Hodgson is a short-term replacement, so he won't bring in all his guys, and the board will look to bring in guys who fit for the next manager to come in. And Skov Olsen showed in the Pro League, Jupiler Pro League, that he is quality, and there are a bunch of big clubs in Europe wanting him as well. But again, with the attraction of the Premier League, Crystal Palace will be able to get this signing done, and this should help them retain mid-table status again. Next up, we have Everton. Everton was kind of tricky for me. I don't want them to sign anyone. I don't care about Everton. I was hoping that they went down this season. I was hoping they went down last year. For all I care, they could sign nobody and I'd be happy. But if I had to pick one player, it'd be Moussa Dembele. And maybe they get relegated. I'm hoping that they get relegated again. I hope Moussa Dembele, if they do sign him, flops. He gets 0 goals, and they go down where they belong in the Championship. They're no good. They don't belong in the same conversations with Liverpool. They don't belong in the same league as us. They're not good. They're like our little brother who we just beat down every season. They don't matter to me. So Moussa Dembele, sign him. The pair alongside with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He has some injury problems, and he also hasn't been able to find the form that he had under Carlo Ancelotti. So maybe bringing in competition will get him kick-starting to go forward and rejuvenate his goal-scoring career. Next up with Fulham, they lack wingers, I believe, and I think Harvey Barnes will be someone who they can get on a cheap from Leicester, as he's been relegated from with Leicester. He is someone who fits the profile. I think he's better than Harry Wilson. He could be better than Willian, as Willian now is very old. Uh, is he even staying with Fulham? I don't even know if he's staying with Fulham. But either way, Harvey Barnes is someone who they can develop, build with them, and go forward to hopefully push for European contention next season. Next up is the almighty Liverpool. If we sign this guy, I believe we can win the Premier League, and that's Joshua Kimmich. Is it realistic? I don't know. There have been links with us to Joshua Kimmich, and if we sign him, I think that instantly puts us into the Premier League title conversation. We already have Alexis McAllister. We go out, we sign Kefren Turam, and then we go out and sign Joshua Kimmich along with another center back, and we're set. We're easily one of the best teams in the league if we sign Joshua Kimmich. He's that good of a player. He's one of the best DMs in the world. He's shown it with Bayern. He can play in various different positions as well. He's versatile. He's world-class quality. He's everything you want in a defensive mid player. Next up, we have Luton Town. They have Carlton Morris as their striker, who is good for the championship, but I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. And this guy, who I'm going to say might not be good enough for the Premier League, but he has shown that he can, in previous years, be good enough for the Premier League, and that's Patrick Bamford. Before the injuries, he was a solid striker, someone who was going to get you 10, 15 goals in a season in the Premier League, which is hard to do, especially for teams in the lower mid-table slots or avoiding relegation. Can he do it anymore? Time will tell, and I think Luton Town should take that gamble, as he will be cheap, as the Leeds fans no longer favor him anymore. They blame him for relegation. So he's someone who could easily come into Luton Town, and if he has a good goal scoring record, keep him up in the Premier League this season. Next up for City, I don't know who they should sign. They really don't need to sign anyone. So I went for someone who they shouldn't lose, and that's Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva showed in the Champions League semifinal and final why he's so vital to Man City. Now, I hope they lose him, but as if I were a City fan, that's someone who I would scream and shout to keep. Jack Grealish, as drunk as he is trying to lure Bernardo Silva to stay. That's how important Bernardo Silva is to Man City. And if they keep him, they could easily go and win 4 straight Premier Leagues. Next up, we have Manchester United. Now, honestly, I hope that they don't sign anyone either. They're not good. They're not a good club. They got lucky with Eric Ten Hag to even win a cup this season. And they should really, really take my advice and keep David De Gea. But if they want to go in a different direction, they should look at Diogo Costa. This is a goalkeeper that Manchester United fans have been raving about for months and months and months now. This is a guy who has lots of great qualities. He's good passing the ball. He has a long range of passing. He's really good in the box, going aerially, getting balls from the air. He's good at making saves. Is he as good as making saves as De Gea? No, but he's not going to give those errors that De Gea has made in a lot in recent years. Next up, Newcastle. I don't know how realistic this signing is for Newcastle, but they are desperate to make a name for themselves in the Champions League this season, and they need a center back. They can't rely on the likes of Dan Burns of the world, of Jamal Lascelles, those kinds of guys. They need someone who is, or Fabian Schär's. They need someone who's legit to pair along. What's his name? Sven Botman. They need someone to pair along Sven Botman, and I think that guy is Gvardiol. He's going to be tough to get because Manchester City are linked to him. A lot of other big clubs are linked to him. But if Newcastle are serious and they want to throw their weight around, then they need to get Gvardiol. Gvardiol is that guy to help them regain Champions League next season and potentially push for a Premier League. Next up, we have Nottingham Forest. Now, it's not likely that they're going to be able to retain Keylor Navas. He's too good for Nottingham Forest. He belongs with one of the big boys in Europe. He belongs in the Champions League. So someone that they should get is Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson is a cheap guy. I think he's better than Kelleher, who they're also linked to. And Dean Henderson has shown that he can keep teams up in the Premier League. He did it with Sheffield United in the previous season, in their first season. Even got them to Europe, and then without him, they got relegated so fast. They weren't even competing they weren't even really battling for relegation, to get out of relegation. They were just stuck there. And I think that's hard for them. I mean, I think that Dean Henderson is a guy who can get Nottingham Forest out of relegation. Next up, we have Sheffield United. Now, this one was a tough one because I tried to find guys that they were linked to, and I couldn't really find any. And honestly, they're a team who could use a lot of different positions. They need a lot of different positions. And for this one, I'm going to go Kelleher. They need a goalkeeper. They don't have any good goalkeeping experience there. And to stay in the Premier League, you need a goalkeeper with Premier League talent, Premier League quality, and you don't get much better than Kelleher. Someone who's won a Premier League, someone who's won a Champions League, someone who's won an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Club World Cup. He's been there, he's done it. Yes, he wasn't a starter, but he is the number 2 for Liverpool for a reason, because he can flat out play. And Sheffield United could use someone like that to bring the experience from Liverpool, the culture, into Sheffield United, and hopefully get them to stay in the Premier League again. Next up for Spurs, they need to revamp their back line. If they lose Harry Kane, I think they have Richarlison there. I think that's why they brought Richarlison, to replace Harry Kane in the future. So I'm going to go with Sacha Boey, the outside back, the French outside back from Galatasaray. Their outside backs at Spurs are horrendous. I've never seen worse footballers in my life. The goal that they gave up against Liverpool in the 4-3 loss is a prime example of why they're not good enough. Their defense in general just isn't good enough. The amount of times that Spurs will lose games because their defenders are so incapable is massive. I wanted to go with a goalkeeper here, but they already look like they're signing David Raya, so I didn't want to go with that option. So the next available is Sacha Boey to reinvigorate that defensive line that they desperately need at Spurs. Next up for West Ham, with them losing Declan Rice, they are going to desperately need a DM, and what better than João Palhinha from Fulham? Is it going to be very tough to get him away? Yes, but if they can get him, he's a Champions League level midfielder. He's someone who belongs in the Champions League and especially is good enough to play for West Ham in the Europa League. He's someone who can push him to make a deep run into the Europa League and fill in the shoes for Declan Rice, who West Ham fans have loved and adored for years. And he's someone who can get them into European spots or a high mid-table finish again this season. Next up, we have Wolves. Last and finally, this team cannot score goals to save their lives. I don't know what it is, but when they go in front of the goal, they're just brain dead. They don't know what it means to put the ball in the back of the net. No matter which coach is there, it's something that they've never been able to do. So for my selection, I have Emile Smith-Rowe on loan. If they can loan in Smith-Rowe, I don't believe Arsenal are going to let him leave on a permanent, but to get him back from injury and let him work out his legs, I think that they can convince Arsenal to allow them to do that. Smith-Rowe is a great goal scorer. In his last healthy season, he scored 10 goals with 2 assists. Is he the greatest assist maker or playmaker? No, but he's going to get you goals from the midfield or wings, something that they desperately need and haven't had in years. And that will finish my video. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my opinions on each player that every Premier League team needs for this season. Again, thank you guys for liking, sharing, commenting, viewing, subscribing to my channel, and please go ahead and do all those things for me today. If you liked the video, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.